Hey guys, I thought today for this video I'd actually introduce myself. So this is Rachel from Cypress Textiles, and we are making today the Crepe Myrtle square from the 2018 Vibrant Vintage Crochet Along reboot. So we're going to be making the square today using Shape Just Soft Fun Aquarel, and which is like it's actually the yarn that's used right here for this square edging. So it has like a chalk kind of look to it, or it's just like a pebbled kind of marbled look. So we're going to be using that yarn today to make this square, so it should be super fun. Okay, as usual, all of the squares start out this way for the most part. We're going to make a slip knot and then chain 3 and slip stitch in the third chain from the hook to make a ring. And then in the center of that ring, we're going to make our beginning DC, which is a single crochet and a chain 1 for our beginning crochet, beginning DC. And then we're going to make 11 more double crochet. So I'll be right back after I've made 11 doubles inside this tiny little center of my chain 3 ring. Okay, so I have my beginning DC here and my 11 double crochets, and now I'm ready to join. So I'm going to go ahead and join like how we've been joining on our previous squares. Just make sure you grab both back loops of that chain of the beginning DC, and I'm going to work around my tail still. So I'm going to bring the tail in between so it catches it, and go ahead and make your slip stitch join. All right, and now your round 1 is joined. You can go ahead and pull that tail taut to close the center. And then in the next stitch, not in the joining stitch, just to make the beginning DC look as much as like a regular DC as possible, in the next stitch we're going to start making puff stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and elongate my loop here to about the height of a puff stitch. And then I'm going to yarn over, keeping that loop elongated so the puff stitch kind of stands as tall as it can. It's not going to stand real tall, but just elongating that loop will help, and you won't have to chain up or anything. And now you're going to make your puff stitch. So yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, the same height as that first loop, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up another loop, and I do that 3 times, so total. So yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So now all my loops are on the hook there, and I can yarn over and pull the yarn through all the loops on the hook to make my puff stitch. And then we're just going to chain 2 in between each puff stitch. So once I've pulled the yarn through, go ahead and chain 2, and that's going to be our repeat. Puff stitch, chain 2 in all the stitches around. So that'll be 12 puff stitches total when you're done. Okay, so I'm back to the beginning, and I'm going to join. So I've got my 2 chains on the hook, and how I join to a puff stitch is in this kind of closing chain here. So I just make sure I only kind of grab the front loop before I put my hook through and make a slip stitch. And the slip stitch will kind of go just alongside that closing loop, and that's how I do it, because I feel like that's kind of what looks the most natural, and it's what gets me prepared best to work into this chain space, which is where we're going to go next. We're going to go straight into this chain space with a beginning DC, and then we're going to make 3 more doubles in that chain space. And then 4 double crochets in each chain space around. Alrighty, I'm at the beginning again here, and I'm just going to join like normal right in this beginning DC with slip stitch. Okay, so now in a rare occurrence, I'm going to actually work into the joining stitch. Okay, so we've got our beginning DC in the first stitch, and then we're going to crochet the next 3 stitches together. And that's the only reason we're going to do it that way is because this is the first petal, so it has the beginning DC here. So now we're going to do DC 3 together. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into this next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook. So now I've got 2 loops here. Now I yarn over, insert the hook again, yarn over, pull up a loop, and they're just working DC stitches, but you're leaving the final step of the DC undone. So yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook. So now I've got 3 loops. Do the same thing again. Okay, so now I've got 4 loops on the hook, and all of your 4DC group here have been worked into. So now you're going to yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook, and that closes our petal already. And then we chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then DC 4 together. So yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on hook, and so you're going to leave this last loop on the hook here. We're going to do that 3 more times to make 4 total. Okay, now we've got 5 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 5 loops, and that's our repeat. Chain 4, DC 4 together. I'm at the beginning now, and I've got my chain 4 on the hook here, and the way I showed you guys before on a different square, how I join into this decrease here is I go through all of the little loops that were left on the hook. I put my hook through back through all of them, and then I just yarn over and do a slip stitch, and then that way the slip stitch kind of falls in line with all the rest of the loops there, and it puts me in a position where I'm ready to work into this chain space. Okay, slip stitch into the first 2 chains, and now we're ready to start our next round with beginning DC in the chain space and chain 3. Okay, make 3 double crochet in the same chain space, and now we're going to work 4 singles in our next chain space. 1, 2, we're squaring off the motif now. 4, got a knot in my yarn here. Okay, after you've got your 4 singles there, we're going to work 1 stitch into the top. You can see this little top part here of the DC 4 together. So you're going to work a single crochet into that. All right, and then 4 into the next chain space, 4 singles. All right, and then we're going to work 3 double crochet in the next chain space. Okay, and that is our repeat. So chain 3 for the corner, 3 DC, 4 singles, a single in the center here, 4 singles, and 3 double crochet, and that's our repeat. So the next thing you'll do is chain 3 again for the corner. All right, so I will see you guys whenever I'm back at the beginning of this round. Alrighty, so I'm at the beginning now, and I've got my final 2 double crochets in my first corner to complete the corner. So now I'm going to join to the beginning DC. Make sure you find that first chain, join with the slip stitch. All right, so for round 6, first we're just going to work right into the chain space. I don't chain up for singles, as you might have learned already. So I'm going to do 5 single crochets in the first chain space. All right, and then I'm going to make single crochet in all the stitches across. Okay, and that's our repeat. So since that's just such an easy round, I'm going to go ahead and come back when the round is complete. Okay, so we're back at the beginning of the round here, and I'm just going to join with a slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. All right, and now working into the next, for the final round, working into the next stitch, I'm going to make a single crochet. Now I'm at the corner. Okay, so in my corner stitch, I'm going to make 3 single crochet. Okay, and that's going to be my repeat. So with the 3 single crochet in the corner and then just single crochet in all the stitches to the next corner. So I'm at the end of the round here, and but I have one more stitch to go. But I just wanted to show you guys, when you join into a single with your slip stitch, you don't need to work into that slip stitch. You need to work into the single. So you're kind of working around the slip stitch and working into the single crochet instead, directly into it. So I'm going to make my very last single crochet of the round, and now I'm ready to join with the slip stitch in my first stitch there, and then I can cut my yarn. All right, so I'll cut my yarn tail there, and I'll just join like I've been showing you guys with every square. Insert your hook back to front through both loops of the stitch to the left of your joining stitch. Grab your tail and pass that tail to the back. Now, in the stitch to the right of the joining stitch, so you're avoiding the joining stitch altogether, go back to front through back loop only, grab the tail and drag it to the back, and just keep doing that maneuver in the next stitch until that tail is all used up. Okay, and that's how I weave my tails. So this is the Crepe Myrtle square for the Vibrant Vintage Crochet Along in 2018. And I hope you guys enjoyed this square, and I look forward to seeing everybody's square. This is one of my favorites. So I'll see you guys next time. Happy crafting!